friends, welcome to our home and harvest. My name's Alana, if we haven't met before. It is July and I figured I'd show you guys what the garden looks like here in Southern California. A lot of sun, and today we're going to be putting up some shade cloth. I've already used it, but this next week's supposed to be in like the high 90s and really dry. So we got to do a little plant care, and I've got a few things to harvest. So let's just get right into it. I had some issues with my microphone, so I'm going to have to do a voiceover for parts of this. So if I look like I'm talking, but it doesn't match up, that's why. To get started, we're with the kale, and this is my first year growing kale, and I will definitely continue growing it. I love growing kale. You guys, it continues to grow in my 100-degree weather, and I cannot say that for the other lettuces that I've tried. So definitely winter my garden. And this is the last turnip of the season. I'm pulling it when it's kind of small, but my hope was that it would give this little tiny plant next to it a little more sunlight. We have two Jilby little pumpkins, and if you see, I pulled that cage off that small one because I thought it would be safe. I went out the next day and that little baby plant was completely gone. So I should have kept that on for probably another week or so. Next to the Jilby little pumpkins are two baby butternut squash. And you can see one of them is doing pretty good and the other one is pretty stunted. And that is just because those green onions right there are shading them out. This is my sugar baby watermelon. I only have one watermelon on this plant right now. I think that it got too hot. But I'm not sure because this is my first year growing watermelon. I am very grateful that this being my first year that I actually got one. So now we're pulling out those green onions, like I said, and I'm hoping this will get that baby butternut squash growing faster. Right next to these green onions are my regular onions. I grew these from onion sets. They're a mixed variety. It's there's red onions, there's white onions, there's yellow onions in there. I've been pulling them out just because they're crowding each other a little bit, and I just want to give the bigger ones more space to grow. So you can kind of see the size based on like the difference between it and my finger. But they're coming along pretty good, and so are the cucumbers. You guys, I grew these before and they have never done this well. This is definitely a record-breaking cucumber year for me. I can't even tell you how many cucumbers I've got off these plants. I probably get 4 every time I go out, and I go out 3 or 4 times a week. I've made a ton of pickles, just refrigerator pickles. I haven't canned anything yet. And these are onions I tried to grow from seed. And next to them is the potatoes, which I have stopped watering and I'm letting them die off because I think they might be ready. I don't know, we'll find out when they completely die off. And these are my zucchini plants, and I definitely have a couple of zucchinis that are ready. Pretty exciting. This one right here, if you guys can see that I'm gonna let go for another day, and there's another small one behind it. There we go. This is a bell pepper, and so is this. And so is this. They're growing really tiny, which is what I get every year. This one's starting to turn red, so I'll probably pull this one off. Some of them are starting to get bigger now that I've been trying to take the fruit off. This one's growing a lot bigger than the other ones. The beefsteak tomatoes are looking a little sad. You guys can see this. It's kind of concerning, but I don't know. I'm still getting lots of tomatoes. This one's about to turn right there. And this one looks like it's about to get ripe too. So I'm just gonna kind of keep doing what I'm doing with those. The poblanos, as per usual, are going nuts. So I have so many. My husband asked if I could wait until some of them started to turn red. He wanted to see what those taste like. So we're gonna leave those alone. Bunch of tomatillos that I need to take out. So I'm gonna do that now. I have not been as good about getting these. This is my first year growing tomatillos, but I keep hearing they grow kind of wild, and that seems to be the case. This is the jalapeno. My husband likes them when they start to turn red, or actually he likes them when they're completely red. So we're gonna let these sit for a bit longer. This cayenne pepper is struggling, and I don't know why, because it's right next to this one that's doing great. I mean, they're both still producing fruit. We've gotten about 20 or so cayennes. I expected these to be bigger. That's probably something I did wrong. And this is the Thai pepper that's just barely starting to flower. But we have more Thai peppers on the patio, so I'm not worried about that. And then over here we have all the flowers. These zinnias did not get watered, so I'll see if I can bring them back. I'm gonna prune them and try to bring them back. But these zinnias did fine. I might cut some of these today to encourage them to grow more. This little guy in the back finally started to blossom. These are California wildflower mix that I bought. And check it out. My sunflowers have bloomed, all except for this tall one right here. These ones right here are, they're not a dwarf variety, but they're a shorter variety. They're only supposed to get to about 4 feet tall. The bummer though is that, as you can see, most of them are pointing towards the fence, so I can't really see them. These are the cherry tomatoes, which I have been harvesting for weeks now, and they just keep coming. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. Cherry tomatoes are indeterminate, which means that they'll just keep growing until something kills them, which is, you know, disease, pests, or, you know, if you just hack them back. So yeah, I expect to be getting cherry tomatoes for a while. I think the Dapple Dandy pluots are all ready to go. The last of them didn't get too many this year. The Flavor Supreme, keep getting mixed up on the name. Those are not ready. They are looking like it, but when you feel them, they're still really hard. So we're gonna pull off the Dapple Dandies today. I think our next round of peaches is ready to be pulled too from the August Pride peach. So we're gonna pull a couple of those. We'll see what you get. Definitely not all of them, so probably gonna have to pull some more next week. I was hoping to get it all done today because it's hot and it's gonna be hotter next week. So let's just do it. A few birds did get at these pluots, which was kind of discouraging because I'd say I lost about half of my Dapple Dandy pluots to birds this year, and I didn't have that many. This was the first year I got fruit off this Dapple Dandy tree. But the fruit tasted really good, and I guess if I have to, I will share. The peaches have been ripening kind of sporadically, so I've been coming in and just pulling whatever looks ripe at the time. Some of them are perfect, like this one. They smell so good. They're just perfectly soft. That is the perfect fruit to just bring right in from the house and eat. The ones that are a little bit yellower or a little more green, you can just pull those in and let them ripen on the counter for a day or two, and that's been working well for me. Here's that last apple that I had left on the tree. It's still growing, and check this out, you guys. My apple tree is flowering again. I've heard that you can get a second harvest off fruit trees, and I don't know if that's what's about to happen here, but I'd be pretty excited if it was. This is my sugar pumpkin, and it's got its first female flower. I'm so excited for the potential of getting pumpkins. I've never grown pumpkins, so it's possible I won't get any because I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm really hoping I get some this year. This is my lemon tree. It's definitely in need of some TLC, but I've got fruit, so I'm enjoying that right now. The avocados, the only thing going on with them is that I need to put up a shade cloth because they do not like this extreme heat that we've been having. These are the mandarins I have growing back here. I can't wait till these ripen. I imagine it's going to be a while. The bear's lime, or beer's lime, I'm honestly not sure how to say it, is doing good. It's definitely making a comeback. Here's the first round of basil, which I need to pinch back because it's almost coming to flower. It's really important that you keep pruning these back if you want to maintain the flavor. And then here is another jalapeno plant. This nice red jalapeno here, we're gonna let turn bright red before we take it off. I can't believe I'm still getting fruit off of this 3-year-old jalapeno plant. This patty pan squash plant I thought was a goner, but clearly I am getting more fruit off it. These watermelon aren't doing much, probably not getting enough sunlight. And these Roma tomatoes are definitely struggling. I'm probably gonna pull them out once I start seeing the fruit slow down. The Greek oregano is doing okay. And here are the eggplant. This one. Remember I said that I thought they might get bigger? Well, they did, but this one used to be shiny. It's not. And something ate it. So there's another one down here. So I think we're gonna come and pull these two. There's more in here, but they don't look ready. I'm gonna let that one go a little longer. Here's more of the Romas. We can go ahead and pull those right now. I've gotten quite a few off this one. Okay, so this is blossom end rot. Has to do with your plant not getting calcium, which could be two things. One, it's not in your soil, or two, your watering habits are making it so that the roots cannot absorb the calcium. So it is okay to eat this. You just cut that part off, but I'm not going to use this for like canning or anything like that. Sweet potatoes look fine. Who knows what they're doing? You never know. My plan is to rip these cucumbers out. If you guys have been watching my video, they've been there forever. They have not done anything because this does not get enough sunlight. Here's the basil again, which we're going to come in here and just prune back because I don't want to have flowering basil. My marigolds, they look sad, but oh, I just need to deadhead those, but they're doing all right. Okay, so look, this is what it looks like when it's starting to flower. So you want to avoid that. Just keep coming in here and pruning. Watermelon are also, I don't know if this is just like normal dying off because like the rest of the plant looks fairly healthy. But that is what they look like. We have more aromas. So we can go ahead and take those. So the bottoms look good, no blossom and rot. Got more here. The pineapple's starting to change color, which is great. It's definitely not filled up yet and the crown is tiny, but it's still growing. And I've read that these are called pups and there are tons of them. I think there's 10 growing up, and those would theoretically become another pineapple plant. So I think I'm gonna rip this out and plant cilantro here, and then I'm gonna leave this one because it's still giving me cucumbers, which you can see right there. When I went on vacation, apparently I had this bubbler off, and so when my mom came to water, she did not know that it wasn't getting any water, so it just completely died. So this was the Greek oregano. Almost forgot the Thai peppers because there are plenty of those ready. You can eat these green too. They sell them in the store in both green and red, but my husband definitely prefers them red. Once I harvested these eggplant, I really was concerned about these yellowing leaves, and I don't know if this was a good decision, but I decided to just pull them off and see if that will help the plant along, or I don't know. I've never grown eggplant before, so we'll find out. I decided to use this pot to plant cilantro because I've got everything else that I need basically to make salsa except for cilantro, so I figured I might as well try to plant some. I have not had really good luck with germination from this packet, but it's the only packet of cilantro that I have, so we'll find out in a couple weeks if it germinated or not. The challenge is going to be keeping the soil moist just because it's so hot and dry right now. But if I can get them to germinate and grow, I will be really excited to use my own homegrown cilantro in my own homemade salsa that I can this year. So that is definitely something I'm looking forward to. All right, thank you guys for joining me and seeing what's going on in my July garden right now. Lots of tomatoes, lots of cucumbers. The tomatillos have actually slowed down a little bit, so I have a ton in the freezer I need to get to, and then we're definitely gonna have more peaches and pluots in the coming weeks. I'm pretty excited for those pluots because, like I said, there's dozens. I could count, but I know there's at least 50 on there. So yeah, that's the harvest that we got for today. I didn't get to as much as I wanted to because it's just too hot. I am gonna pull that shade cloth back over everything just because it's going to be so hot today. But I wanted to fertilize the trees and I didn't get to that, and I had a few more things I wanted to plant. I think I'm gonna wait until I pull the potatoes out, and I'm gonna go ahead and plant more winter squash, maybe some pumpkins, and yeah, we'll see what else. So yeah, thanks again for joining me. I really appreciate that people are interested in what's going on in my garden. Some people in the country, this is like their prime time. And for me here, at least, it's like survival mode time, except for the fruit trees. The fruit trees kind of do well on their own, but trying to keep everything producing fruit when it's this hot is kind of my challenge right now. So if you have any tips for me or on anything you saw about the heat or the fruit trees or what's going on with my apple trees, let me know. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'd appreciate it if you subscribe if you want to see more videos like that in the future. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.